for Insurance, Mike Causey, with us. And Mike, thank you so much for joining us here on the chat. And why don't we start out this by introduce yourself to all of our listeners and watchers all across the state.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mike Causey, North Carolina Commissioner of Insurance and State Fire Marshal. It's an honor and privilege for me to be with you tonight.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you, not a lot of folks know what exactly the insurance commissioner does. I think folks understand the fire aspect of it, but not a lot of people understand that those have been pushed together. Tell folks a little bit about what your job is on a day-to-day basis and what it is that you do at the department.
It's a very busy job, and I would encourage people to go to the website for the Department of Insurance, which is ncdoi.gov or ncdoi.com. You'll see a long list and descriptions of different divisions. But I serve as the State Fire Marshal. We do all firefighter certification and training in North Carolina. This is a little trivia, but North Carolina does more firefighter certifications than any other state or any other agency in the world except for the Department of Defense. We do 54 different levels of firefighter certification. We also inspect fire departments for the fire safety rating. That's very important to consumers because how your fire department is rated affects what your homeowner's insurance is, the rates are for that district. We have law enforcement. We have state police that can make arrests in all 100 counties. We have criminal investigators and arson investigators. We actually had one insurance fraud case that turned into a first-degree murder case. You can look that up online. It's called the I Drop murder case. And our attorneys that are prosecutors will be prosecuting the case in the courtroom, working with the district attorney. That case is in Gaston County. We regulate and oversee bail bondsmen and surety bondsmen. There's over 2,000 bail bondsmen in North Carolina. We regulate collection agencies, premium finance companies, the small loan companies, household finance companies that make the loans, sell credit life insurance. We regulate all kinds of insurance companies, insurance agents. We're the chief building inspectors for the state. We're over all engineering codes. We're over all life and health safety issues for all public buildings. And our office is in charge of risk management for every piece of property the state of North Carolina owns. And there's somewhere in excess of 15,000 buildings. So we have engineers and inspectors that work on that every day. We have 23 boards and commissions that I oversee, everything from the beach plan and the fair plan to the risk management, public officers and employees liability insurance commission, a number of other things. We have a number of programs like Seniors Health Insurance Information Program, where we have 1,000 volunteers statewide that work with senior citizens every day to help them with Medicare issues, health insurance, prescription drugs. Safe Kids North Carolina, Operation Medicine Drop. I could go on and on, but it will wear you out when you look at all the things that we're in charge of regulating, and we issue over 680,000 licenses a year, from electrical contractors to bail bondsmen to building inspectors to insurance folks.
And when you look at the department and all of the stuff that you guys do, the impact that you have on everyday North Carolinians is obviously huge. One of the great things that I've seen as we've kind of been watching you serve over the course of the last 4 years is your efforts to really bring more competition and more efficiency to the department and frankly to the insurance industry, but to make the department better. Usually what we see in bureaucrats is they tend to want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but not necessarily better and better and better. And so I think, talk about your efforts to make the department better, and frankly, to make the
Yes.
insurance as a whole better in North Carolina?
We have cut the red tape. We've streamlined the department. We've really made every division more user-friendly, and we've worked real hard to bring more health insurance companies to North Carolina to write individual health policies. So we have been working on that for the past 4 years, and I believe you're going to see, by the time 2021 rolls around, you're going to see a number of health insurance companies that are able to write individual health policies. And we've gotten the attention of Blue Cross on that because they see that they're going to have competition, and which is a good thing. I think competition is what we all need. Consumers need more choices. We handled over 258,000 consumer issues last year, and a lot of these calls or complaints we get are stalemates where the consumer and the insurance company at odds on getting the claim paid, and we've had just some amazing results on getting consumers more dollars in claim settlements. So I tell people, if you've got an issue with an insurance company on a claim, don't fight it yourself. Call us, and we're here to help. So we've just done a lot of things to modernize the insurance industry, work with the legislature. We had an issue, it's called consent to rate, where insurance agents were having to track down people to get a signature, and we were able to get that eliminated through some legislative action. So we've just done a lot of things that conservatives can appreciate because we've cut through so much red tape, streamlined a lot of these procedures, and we've got more work to do. So that's why I'm asking for your help and support for the next 4 years.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times people think that you come into a department like that, you're going to have on day one a new agenda and everything else. But when you're talking about insurance, you're talking about, even on the fire side, that there's a history of experience there in the department with you. But you really do need to make changes and talk about kind of, where you are in your regulatory reform agenda and why you need 4 more years to be able to help complete the job that you came into the department to do.
Well, I believe it was Pat McCoy that said, when he was elected governor, it's like trying to turn around a giant ship. You don't do it overnight. It takes time. We changed a lot of the leadership positions, and we've been able to get the most talented people, not only in insurance, but engineering, the fire service. And we've worked with the legislature to get new laws passed, streamlined a lot of this antiquated insurance language that we had. But we still don't have a free market system. We still have a North Carolina Rate Bureau system, the only state in the nation that has that type system. Now, it's provided stability, and we have tweaked that to make it more free market, but we still have general statutes that we need to tighten up. One is our bail bond regulation. We've got some things there we need to get rid of. We've got some things we need to tighten up to give the commissioner more power. I can't just go in and take somebody's license away without going through a lengthy red tape court process. And there's just a number of things that we're working on that's all good for the consumer and helping consumers save money on their insurance and building inspections and other things.
Excellent. So I want to switch gears. One of the things that I really enjoy about getting to know all of our candidates is seeing, their family life, meeting their husbands and wives, and talking with their kids and really seeing how important the balance of being married and being a father, with your professional responsibilities. So let me pry just a little bit in there and say you've got an absolutely wonderful wife. How'd you meet her, and how did you get so lucky as to say yes to marry you? And I know you now live out on the same farm you grew up on. Talk a little bit about that work-life balance there for you.
Well, I like to spend as much time as I can at home and on the farm, but I'm a military veteran. I served in the United States Army, served overseas as a military policeman, also played in the Army band. But, I met my wife when I was in the Army. We've been married more than 4 decades. Don't have any small children at home, but I do have a lot of land to take care of, and I like to get out on the tractor every chance I can. So that's my relaxation. I don't play golf. I don't have a lot of other hobbies, but I do like to get on the tractor and plow and mow grass and all that every chance I get. And we enjoy traveling, when we can. And I enjoy getting out, in my work. My wife's traveled with me when we've gone to national insurance conventions. You're not doing a lot of that this year, of course. But it's just been a fun job for me to travel this state and get out and meet the people and meet people's families. And we're like a family at the Department of Insurance. Our families interact. We get out and about. The fire service, they're always having barbecues, cookouts. Any fire department you've ever gone to, they know how to eat. They know how to cook good. So, I could just go on and on talking about all the things I enjoy doing. I used to raise produce a long time ago. Don't have much time to do that now, but I enjoy my work so much that if I wasn't working for the Department of Insurance and working for the people, I would be at home farming. And that's what I can say about that.
Well, I think it's just fantastic. I really do. And it means so much to me with Suzanne and our kids and to everybody else that we talk to have that voice who's not in the political vortex, who's not in the work vortex, that you can sound things off on. Because I really do think a lot of times in this political world, you just need a rational outside voice every once in a while to say, stop, take a look at this, from a different perspective. And a lot of times we forget that. So it's great that you've got that and you've been able to rely on that and having her travel around. I always joke about North Carolina having 100 counties and 3 time zones, how big it is. So it is great to always be able to get back home with it. When you talk about running for re-election, one of the things that we're kind of seeing, obviously, I've had, probably 150 different interviews with news channels and newspapers all across the country about how different it is to campaign in North Carolina this year because of COVID versus, previous election cycles. Talk a little bit about your race in 2016 and, kind of the getting in a truck and driving around and meeting with people versus, what you've been doing over the course of the last 4 years and now that we're back in election time.
Well, in 2016, I was working with the North Carolina Department of Transportation, and I was over the Adopt a Highway program, so I was traveling the state, and it was the type of campaign where I didn't have a lot of time to campaign except on weekends and occasional nights during the week because I mostly worked. This year, not many candidates are able to have a lot of in-person events, so I see a lot of things being done through Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams, and that type thing. But I think getting people to pay attention is going to be a lot harder this year because of the coronavirus situation and the people struggling with their businesses and struggling with a lot of problems that we wouldn't ordinarily face. Now, for the past 15 weeks, I've been traveling the state in my work. Who would have dreamed we would have had hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes all in the same week? But that's just what happened this past week. So I have mostly focused on my job to help people. This coming Friday, I'm working with the Trump administration's U.S. Department of Agriculture, and in Duplin County, the USDA's given out almost $2 million to help our fire departments in Calypso, Green Evers, Wallace, and Warsaw. So when you get out and you're out there every week, like I am, talking with people, meeting with the mayors, the county commissioners, the sheriffs, the insurance agents, and the business owners, it makes a difference. And so I don't feel that I'm having to rely as much on the traditional type campaigning as we've had to do in the past.
Yeah, I think competence has a lot to do with a position like yours. I mean, people want to know that you know what you're talking about. They want to know that you have their interests and their concerns at heart on an everyday basis. And you've really done a fantastic job of translating a sincere desire to have the department, become better and more accessible to people across the state, to use the state resources to help them, get resolutions that they need for it. I think people see that in a big way, and that is certainly going to help you. At the same time that we look at, the individuals that are running for all of our Council of State offices, and of course, we've got Dan Forrest running for governor, and Mark Robinson, and E.C. Sykes, and you, and Jim O'Neill. We've got such a great slate of candidates that are running. There also is a little bit of a team aspect of it too, because you are part of the Council of State, and we, have a government that has a governor as well as a Council of State, including those. And really as an advisor to the governor, this has been interesting because he's not really taken in, Governor Cooper has not taken in too much advice from the Council of State. He's rejected advice from them. He's, been a bit of an adversarial position. If we, get through this election cycle here and we have Governor Dan Forrest and we have you back on the council, as well as Mark Robinson and other, talk about how that relationship should work and kind of how it's not really worked with Governor Cooper.
Well, let me mention this about the Council of State, Mr. Chairman. The Democrats control the Council of State for over 100 years. They call the Council of State their firewall. They, the word in the 1980s and the 1990s is Republicans can never break through our firewall. And it seemed like we never would. Even when Richard Petty was on the ticket for Secretary of State in 1996, did not break through the firewall. It was not till 2000, Cherie Berry, had been a state representative, broke through the firewall in an open seat for labor commissioner, and she became the first Republican ever elected to the Council of State. And then 4 years later, 2004, we elected two more Republicans, Les Merritt and Steve Troxler. Les Merritt did not win in 2008, so from that point, from 2008 to 2016, all we had on the Council of State in the way of Republicans was Steve Troxler and Cherie Berry. So it was, and then, well, in 2012, when Dan Forrest, Pat McCrory, there was four. We had two more. So there's 8 plus the governor and lieutenant governor, so it's a total of 10. So for the first time in history, in 2016, Republicans gained the majority on the Council of State. Now, that's very important. I've been very disappointed in this coronavirus situation that the governor has not reached out to the other members of the Council of State like I believe he should. And I believe with a change at the top, that if we had Dan Forrest, Mark Robinson, and the rest of us Republicans, that you would see a different situation. And we have an opportunity to do that. It's not easy. It's very difficult, but I believe we can do it. And I think the people of North Carolina would be better served if we could get to that point. And my concern is getting out the vote. And you see it, Mr. Chairman, every election, we talk about this is the most important election of our lifetime, and I believe it is. But if you look at the numbers after every election, there's close to 30% of the people that could have voted didn't vote. And we can't afford for people not to vote because we get killed in the big cities. We've got to have strong votes in our rural counties, and we can win in a number of precincts that we haven't won if people would just take advantage of absentee ballots, early voting, or vote on election day. So that's my message. We have got to turn out the vote in a strong way for Republicans.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the absentee votes and the early votes. You know, we at the Republican Party have actually already dropped over 2 million mail pieces, encouraging people to apply for absentee ballot requests. This is a huge push that we've got going on at the party right now for both absentee and early voting. We think it's tremendously important. We like the regime here in North Carolina. We like the fact that people can vote absentee, they can early one stop, or they can vote on election day, whichever one works for them. And we're encouraging as many people to do that as we can. And you're right. You know, we're going to have probably 65 to 70% of all votes this year are going to be cast before election day. And we need to be able to talk to those folks and work with those folks and kind of push that out. So I'm excited that we actually have an unprecedented program that we're running this year at Advancing GOP to try and get everybody pushed in and locked in. And, you know, thankfully our county parties have all stepped up to the plate and are working with slate cards and making sure that they're supporting the judges. You know, obviously President Trump's going to command a huge presence at the top of the ticket. And then we've got the governor's race and the Senate race are both the number one, type races in the country there. And so with the Council of State, we really want to focus on you guys are just a heck of a slate. You're a heck of a team from top to bottom. You know, Catherine Truitt's been doing a great job, Josh Dobson and everybody else. You know, so when we look at how you guys are running as a team, could not be more happy, could not be more proud of the work that you guys are doing. Let me ask you this, you know, just in terms of all of our voters, all of the viewers that we have here on the Chairman's Chat who want to help Mike Causey, what can they do to plug into your campaign, and how can they help make sure that we get you 4 more years to make the department that much better and more responsive?
The easiest way is to log on right now to MikeCauseyNC.com. It's my name, Mike Causey, NC at the end of that. So MikeCauseyNC.com. You can go online, volunteer, you can make a donation on. We need a lot of people participating. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or $10, the amount doesn't matter. We just need a lot of people participating. My opponent is the chairman of the North Carolina Democratic Party. He is bringing in money. He's got him, and in numbers wise, that he had 5 times the contributors in the first half of this year than I did. So we just need people to pay attention to the Commissioner of Insurance and the other Council of State races too. And we need people in every county. There's some counties we're in good shape. We have a number of volunteers, people picking up signs, taking them around. We have materials to pass out. Gay Dillard is my field director, campaign manager on the ground, and most of you all know Gay. She's a chair of the 13th Congressional District. But you can get in touch with Gay. You can call me. But the easiest way is just to go to that website. I would appreciate it if you would like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and push it out to your network of friends across the state and the social media, because that is a real good way to reach people as you all are doing tonight.
Well, I tell you what, we are certainly going to encourage everybody to go to MikeCauseyNC.com and to log in and support you on Facebook and to make those donations. I think it's really tremendously important for every family, every small business, every farm across North Carolina that we have a good, solid, dependable conservative in this office. It's a critical one. We appreciate your service. We think you guys are doing a great job running on this campaign, and really appreciate you calling in and participating in our chat tonight. So thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate what you do and your leadership. And again, when people are talking with their friends and family, if you know people that have issues with insurance or need help with an insurance claim, refer them to the Department of Insurance. Give us a call, because we are here to help, and that's what I want to see, people get the help that they need.
Excellent. We will do that. And I also want to thank all of our viewers tonight for tuning in. Always a great conversation that we have here on the Chairman's Chat. Next week, tune in. We've got a really cool show. We're going to have Congressman Mark Walker, and we're going to have Tony Perkins, who is the chair of the Family Research Council, to be able to talk about nationally this election cycle and how important faith issues are going to be, and how important faith voters are going to be, not just here in North Carolina, but all across the country. So thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight, and have a great evening. Good night.